Great Writers Media.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, get ready for an intriguing conversation with an amazing author. Her name is Margaret Teegarden, and she has written a book called Can This Be Me? Time After Time. It is a novel that delves into the life of Christy, a woman haunted by near-death experiences and paranormal visions from a young age. The author crafts a narrative that is both chilling and inspiring, exploring the themes of survival, hope, and the fight against unseen forces that seek to control one's destiny. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We'd like to thank the team at Great Writers Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her fantastic book. The links are below this interview. Peg, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
It's nice to be here with Logan.
Is Christy a little bit of you? Are you a woman who has had a near-death experience and paranormal visions? Let's start with that.
Do you know, I would say that in my life, I have stuff that's happened, illnesses and stuff, and I would say, yes, maybe at one time or another I have.
Yeah.
I had surgery and bled out on the table. When I had one of my youngest daughter, I just blacked out. I don't know what happened, but thank God that I was okay, me and the baby and stuff, and then all this stuff started coming together, and I'm like, I felt like that I really lived the life of the people on the book. And I always said that I felt like that I should have a past regression hypnotist taken, because I feel like that I'm from a different time or a different place. And people might think I'm crazy, but I always felt like that it was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
You know,
like you feel like you should have been born in a different era or something like that. And perhaps you were. Maybe you had a life in the 1920s or the 1850s or whatever it might be. And I think that's interesting to all of us because we all have feelings of deja vu. We all have past loved ones who seem to come and talk to us in our dreams. So there is that connection to the other world. So you're a believer.
I am very, very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know that everything that's happened in my life with my family and my mother and my father and sisters and brothers, I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There really is.
There's a reason behind this life. There's creation that brought it about. And there is an afterlife, whether you call it heaven, whether you call it reincarnation, whatever it is, there is something more. And that's the theme of your book. Christy is haunted by her visions that she had as a young age. And tell me about the title, Can This Be Me? Time After Time. What does that mean?
Well, she was a little girl. And when she went into these trances, she went from like a blackout state, and then she went right into another person, another life. She lived the life. She suffered. She was tormented. She was brutally beaten, and eventually that body that she went into, she died. But Christy, just at the brink of her death, she came out of the trance and she was okay. The body that she was with passed on. Thank God, Mickey, or that's my dog. Christy, she followed on through, and then again it kept getting bad. She wound up being institutionalized because the trauma, and it was horrible for her trying to raise a family and to live under those conditions. And she'd had a hard life. She was from a very poor family in southwestern Pennsylvania, and but everything worked out in the end. Um, my everything. I believe that all things are possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's give the folks an overview of what the book is about. Let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Christy. Tell me the story briefly. Tell the viewers at home.
Okay. Um, there was a girl. The life of Christy was a woman who was tormented by mysterious voices. Those voices, they haunted her, and they kept taunting her to get her to go wherever they wanted her to lead.
Mhm.
So she was at 4 years old. She was led into, at the time they were having a big picnic for the family reunion or whatever, and the voices called her to go to a little creek.
Mhm.
Well, she found herself face down in the water, and something was holding her under the water.
Mhm.
She was struggling. And her life was slipping away. Then finally, she was up out of the water and sitting on the bank. And she had no idea what had happened. She knows that she was soaking wet, muddy, and gasping for air. She near drowned.
Mhm.
But I, her her angels was with her. Her guardian angel was with her and saved her in this instance. Then each time that she went into a trance, it became more and more violent.
Mhm.
Um, the the voices became more demanding. They wanted to lead her to tragic. They needed to get rid of the voices needed to get rid of Christy.
Mhm.
The soul that was controlling Christy is the one that wanted to, it's earthbound. It does not want to be earthbound. It wants to be earthbound. It's supposed to go in the spirit world, but it's fighting. It doesn't want to go in the spirit world. It wants to stay on earthbound. And now the soul that is with Christy, it's an old soul, so decides that he's going to keep Christy, and he's going to kill Christy because Christy is going to be the soul now that he wants to take over. But Christy is very endurable, very positive, and she has guardian angels.
Yeah.
So during the guardian angels, that's by the end of within in God, everything's possible. So
Absolutely.
that's where, yeah, I truly believe that with all else is possible.
That's a big part of the book, themes of survival and hope. And you
Mhm.
balance that with horror on one side. Tell us a little bit about what it was like weaving these contrasting themes together in the story.
Oh, it was amazing. I got once it started, Logan, I couldn't stop. It was like um something was programmed into my head where
Mm,
it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and it was like it became it became a pain, I mean, it was like I was obsessed. I was
yeah,
really obsessed because once it started with the little girl and how tragic that her life was, then I had to say, okay, well, if this happened to a little girl, what's going to happen when she gets a little older?
right.
And then she gets older and older, and then she finds a place where the spirit, her body takes her to a spirit world where she's comfortable there. So now she takes on this other life, and the life that she's in was a young slave girl. Her name was Libby. So she's comfortable being with Libby. So the doctors thought at this point in time that they've lost Christy completely. But it all worked out that Libby came back. Libby was gone, and now Christy came back, And then, but this was time after time.
Mm.
There was an ancient shipwreck. All the people perished on the ship. Um, in old world London, an older disabled man was trampled to death, a tragic death. But each person that Christy lived in their life, they all died a tragic death.
Mm.
She felt everything. She felt all the pain. She felt all the struggles, and it was a horrifying experience for her.
Yeah. Now, when you're writing this, you're living in this world.
Yeah.
You are that character. You are multiple characters. You're entrenched in it and surrounded by it. What was that like? Was that at times distressing?
Yeah, sometimes I got a really big headache. But when you're putting it together, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
You got this part over here, and you've got another part over here. Now you've got going down the middle. Now, how am I going to make all these ends come together?
Right.
And that was the big challenge, trying to get. I knew where I wanted to go, and I know where the ending has to be, but I didn't know how I was going to bring all these pieces together.
Yeah.
And it was challenging. It was a big challenge. And I will tell you that I'm not a literary scholar in any way. I was a high school dropout due to my home life. My mom and dad were very ill, and I had 10 brothers and sisters, and I was a third from the oldest. So I didn't get my education the way that I really wished I could have. I did go back, however, and did get my education, and everything that I know now was all life experience.
Yeah. Well, there's no beating life experience. A lot of people have said, I think it was Mark Twain who said, all my life has been a learning experience, except those years I spent in school. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm a firm believer in that. I learned a lot more out of the classroom than in the classroom. In fact, the classroom I usually like this, looking at the window. So,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
life
Who
experience is
wants to be
great.
in a classroom?
What's
You
that?
know, who wants to be in a
No
classroom?
one, no one. You know what you're done when you're in a classroom, you're taught to think like everyone else, act like everyone else. They stifle your creativity. Classrooms are not for me. I think if you're going to be a doctor, yes, you have to have a prescribed curriculum. But if you're
Yeah.
going to be a creative person like yourself, I think sometimes getting that life experience and living your life and imbuing your pages with that life that you have lived and that imagination that hasn't been shuttered by strict teachers is the best way to go about it. When
Right.
did you decide to include paranormal into your book? Was that right from the start? It was going to be a girl who
It
was
was,
haunted by
yeah.
visions?
When I was a little girl, and I don't know, I was only like about 3, 4 years old, and we were very poor and lived out in a farm out behind Claysville. And I was having these constant nightmares. I dreamt about, and I've never seen a coal mine or a coal um, wagon or
Hmm.
whatever it is on the rails.
Yep.
And I used to have dreams of going through this tunnel
Mm.
with his wagon, and I followed it and followed it and followed it, and finally at the end, it was a big pit of fire.
Mm.
So I don't know whether I was supposed to burn in hell or what happened to me, but it's like, wow, it was profound, really.
Yeah.
I thought, how can a little girl think of all this stuff and never have anything to do with that? And then that's when it started, like, okay, I have a very vivid imagination.
Mm.
So let's go ahead and do something with this, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started writing these books in 1999, and I've been putting them together and um, editing, and I had 2 strokes. I couldn't even dial my own phone number.
Mm.
I am back rehabilitated thanks to my daughter who's here with me now. She was my right hand man. She was my physical therapist, and she's right here now. She's my support.
She's your
Yeah.
cheerleader now as well, which is great. You need that in life. I wish I had my kids lined up here cheering for me,
You want
but
to say hello to her? She's sitting right here.
if she wants to come on and say hi, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, she said no.
She's shy. That's okay.
She's
Not a
shy.
problem at all. Well, that well, that's great. It's great that you're recovered. It's great that you're back. Now, you mentioned multiple books. How many books have you written? And is this one part of a series?
This no, this is not. It's not a series. I have another book. It's called Waltz Through Eternity.
Hmm.
It's from a different time. It was based in Virginia around the time of the Civil War. Um, went from present to past, and then the young couple, they lived in Virginia. They had to move away to the West Coast, and after 10 years, they came back to Virginia, and then they found an old home that nobody even knew was there. It was hid in time. All the wisteria and the vines and the weeds, the house was completely engulfed with
Mm.
um, weeds and trash and stuff. And but um, Charlotte, she kept feeling that there was someplace, something that kept calling her to go to this destination because she was out looking for a home for her and her family. But every time she wanted to turn around to go back to the house to start looking again, it kept telling her subconscious was telling her, no, follow this lead. So she did. And then finally she went and she found an old opening that looked like it might have been at one time an old driveway, but it was so weed up at weed and with rubbish and everything. And
Really
finally,
overgrown, yeah.
her and her husband decided to go explore. They did, and they found that there was this unbelievably beautiful mansion
Hmm.
hid under all of that, and it was preserved in time.
Wow.
Yeah. And then now comes the paranormal
Hmm.
because there was death, tragedy, murder, um, all of it. And so that's where the paranormal and all of it comes in. And Christy and her husband become investigators, and the property had a big tomb and a graveyard out there. And um, so Charlotte became um, obsessed. And the lady's name was Sarah, who used to live in that house, and she took or Charlotte up completely. She took her, and she wanted to control her so that she could find her long lost love. And it's pretty intense too.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. You have quite an imagination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, you're kind of known for that, I guess, in the family because that is quite a story. I love the overgrown mansion that once it's cleared of all the rubbish and cleared of all the vines and weeds is a beautiful mansion that hasn't changed during the course of time. That's a great setting, that's for sure. Tell me, have you envisioned Can This Be Me time after time, perhaps as a TV series or a film?
Oh my God, yes. I would love for it to be, yes, yes.
That
It
would be
would be
great.
my life. Oh, it would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
Absolutely.
imagine the thrill of like creating a book, spending hours, days, years on it, crafting these characters, coming up with this story, and then seeing it brought to life like only Hollywood can,
Yeah.
with great acting and great lighting and great music and great scenery and capturing all the places you're familiar with, because this is all set in Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and that area, correct?
And Steeler country. Don't forget Steeler country.
Steeler country for sure. Absolutely, absolutely. So Hollywood, if you're listening, this would be a wonderful book. I could see, at least for older Christy, I could see perhaps Nicole Kidman. She seems to have that haunted character about her lately,
Yes.
in a lot of her projects. But we'd have to find somebody to play young Christy. But That wouldn't be hard to do, I'm sure. That'd be wonderful. Wonderful. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, any of them, if you're listening, this is a great story that is ready to go. Wonderful.
Right.
What are you working on now? I got a feeling you're always working on something there, Peg.
Right now, I'm working on getting my health back.
Yeah.
I found that I have an autoimmune system
Mm.
disease, and now I take fusions and stuff once a month, and I've been very ill. So I just kind of like a little. I'm pretty much do what I have to do here in hand, and just stay busy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and
So
pray.
for temporarily, you're not writing right now.
No,
No.
no.
Okay. Well,
Right
you've
now,
written this book and it's a wonderful book, plus the other book you mentioned. Tell me, can this be me time after time? Could you envision a sequel to it down the road, perhaps?
possibly,
Yeah.
possibly yes, because I ended it so that there could be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that would be great. I
Um,
think your readers would enjoy it.
yes, at the end, I ended it at the bridge at the river, the Three Rivers Stadium, Three Rivers. I ended it so that there was a child.
Mhm.
Uh, Christy became with child, and she had a baby a year after. And so, yes, I've
There we
already thought
go.
about that.
There we
Mhm.
go. A progeny, another child, perhaps with similar abilities. That would be very, very interesting. That's great. What do you hope readers take away from it after reading the book? How do you hope to inspire them, influence them, inform them about something?
I hope that they know that no matter how tough things are in life, there's always there's always hope.
Hmm.
Don't ever give up. Like I said, I've been working on these books for over 20 years, and I'm right now talking to you. Um, I'm praying that it goes forward.
Hmm.
But I can say that I've spent a biggest part of my life of dreaming, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to make this dream come true.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that that inspires someone else too. And I always believe that there is something out there. There is a higher power,
Yeah.
and we all are being blessed with that higher power.
Yeah.
And let's just say, in God, everything are possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you always been a person of faith? Is that something you got from your parents? Is it something you picked up on your own? Tell us about your faith journey a little bit.
Um, I believe strongly. I am. I've been baptized, I go to church, and I'm a member of the church, and um, but I do believe it's instilled in me. My grandparents and stuff, they used to go to the tent revival meetings and
Hmm.
stuff like that, years ago. And I remember as a child that we did that too, and it was so much fun. And they were, hallelujah, and all of the above.
Yeah, you
And
really
it
feel
was,
like the presence of God is there when you're at a
yes,
revival
yes,
meeting because you have so many people who have such strong faith,
yes,
strong beliefs. They say wherever two or more are gathered in his name, God is there. But when you have a
exactly.
tent full of people who are so passionate, you truly feel it. It's very, very palpable. Well,
Yes, and
you're,
it feels it all through your body. You
yeah,
just, it's like you have the spirit, you have got the Holy Ghost in you. It's amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Wonderful.
Yep.
I've seen them from afar as a news reporter. I've never actually attended a tent revival. It's on the bucket list, absolutely. And I think
Enjoyable. Just yes.
yeah, I think that
And
Southwest Pennsylvania and West Virginia area is the place to go to get an authentic experience.
yes. And we were talking about something on History Channel the other day, Oral Roberts.
Right.
My grandparents and stuff, they used to sit at an old TV and watch Oral Roberts
Yeah.
every week or twice a week or something, and we didn't have the luxury of doing a lot of traveling and stuff, because we were
Yeah.
we were destitute.
That was
And
the era. I mean, I was pretty
yeah,
poor
yeah.
growing up
Oh,
too.
it
I
was a
mean,
bad, it
yeah,
was a bad time, you know.
yeah,
I remember um, gas coupons, and
yeah,
you only allowed to have so much sugar, and everything was, it was during the time of depression,
yeah.
after the war and stuff, and it was not an easy time,
No,
you
not
know.
an easy time at all. But out of adversity comes great people, such as yourself, and comes
Thank
great
you.
work. Oh, my pleasure. This book is amazing, folks. It is called Can This Be Me? Time After Time. It is written by Margaret Teegarden. It is a novel that takes a look at the life of a woman named Christy. She is haunted by near-death experiences and paranormal visions, all starting at a very, very young age. And along the way, you will find out there is despair in life, but to counter that, there is palpable hope. And that is a pervasive theme in this book as well. Peg, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're welcome, and thank you so much. And God bless you for being so patient with me. This has
Oh,
been 2 months now.
oh, no worries. We're glad we finally got you on. You
You
did,
got it.
you did a terrific job. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on
Okay, honey. Thank
Spotlight.
you very much.
You
And
did,
I am so happy with you and all the work you do. I started finding out who you are, and I said, "Oh, I love this guy. I love this manifest, and all of them. I love them all. Blue bloods, all of them."
Thanks so much. Well, God
Yeah.
bless and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too, honey.
Thanks.
And you have a wonderful day.
Visit www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com. Call us at 877-600-5469. Subscribe now.